Matthew Perry has revealed he once spent weeks in a coma during the height of his addiction battles. The Friends actor, 53, has detailed just how close he came to dying as he struggled with drug and alcohol, and recalls his family being told he only had a 2% chance of pulling through, after overusing opioids caused the actor's colon to burst when he was aged 49. Matthew explains how he had to use a colostomy bag for 9 months following the near-death experience and has undergone a total of 14 surgeries on his stomach, alongside 15 trips to rehab in a bid to conquer his demons and battle his addictions. The Chandler Bing actor reveals how he first tasted alcohol at the age of 13, and by the time he landed his iconic role on Friends at the age of 24, his addiction to alcohol had already begun to take a hold on him. His first experience of opioids was in 1997, 3 years on from Friends premiering and becoming a global hit, after he suffered an injury following a jet ski accident. Looking back at one point during Friends' 10-year run, Matthew recalls taking 55 Vicodin a day and his weight dropping down to 128 pounds, but yet he didn't know how to stop. The doctors told my family that I had a 2% chance to live. I was put on a thing called an ECMO machine, which does all the breathing for your heart and your lungs. And that's called a Hail Mary. No one survives that, Matthew begins when sharing his story, going on to explain how he waited to go public with his experience until he was safe from ever going to a dark place again. I had to wait until I was pretty safely sober, and away from the active disease of alcoholism and addiction, to write it all down. And the main thing was, I was pretty certain that it would help people, he adds, ahead of his debut memoir coming out next month. He goes on to explain to People magazine how his problems with alcohol began to appear as he took on the role of Chandler in the iconic sitcom Friends, but he often managed to stay sober throughout some of the seasons aired between 1994 and 2004. Matthew reveals he was sober throughout the entirety of filming the 9th season of the show, alongside Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, David Schwimmer, Lisa Kudrow, and Matt LeBlanc, which was period of time he got nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series in 2002. But at one point during his time playing Chandler, the actor was taking 55 Vicodin a day and his weight dropped dramatically to as low as 128 pounds, something that was noted by his castmates, who Matthew describes as being understanding, and they were patient throughout his health battles. In his tell-all interview, published just weeks before his book Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing is released, Matthew confirms he is pretty healthy these days but chooses not to disclose exactly how long he has been sober for, opting to instead privately count each day. He shares how the 14 scars on his stomach act as a reminder to stay sober, and reveals therapists have warned him he will need a colostomy bag for the rest of his life if he ever relapses again, something which motivates him to stay healthy. Speaking previously about his addiction battles, Matthew admitted he doesn't recall large chunks of his time on Friends. Chatting on BBC Radio 2 in 2016, he said, "I don't remember 3 years of the show. Somewhere between seasons 3 and 6, I was a little out of it." As Matthew and his former Friends co-stars came together once again for a reunion in 2021, but the Chandler Bing actor's appearance on the HBO special alongside Matt, David, Lisa, Courtney and Rachel sparked some concern from fans, who took to social media to claim the star was slurring at times during the broadcast. Ben Winston, who directed Friends, The Reunion, hit back at the comments made on social media and stuck up for Matthew, saying, "He was great." People can sometimes just be unkind. I wish they weren't. I loved working with him. As a brilliantly funny man, and I thought he had some great one-liners in the show. I felt just happy and lucky to be in his presence and directing him on something like this. In 2013, Matthew spoke about the joy that can be found in sobriety, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life and a lot of wonderful accolades. The best thing about me is that if an alcoholic comes up to me and says, 'Will you help me stop drinking?' I will say, 'Yes. I know how to do that.'" Frank offers confidential advice about drugs and addiction. Email Frank at talktofrank.com, message 82111 or call 0300-123-6600, or the NHS has information about getting help.